I really hate the fact that I have to make this video, but I have been asked now a couple of times to react to this one Instagram and YouTube channel. I'm not going to leave their names in or anything because I don't want anybody to go hate on them. That's not the point of this video. This person is going to continue doing the same things they're doing because they don't care what anybody has to say. You can tell them what they're doing is wrong and they will tell you, no, it's okay. So this person is going to do it regardless of whether or not they get hate. I just wanted to make this video to inform others that it's not right and that you shouldn't support accounts like this. Now, based on looking at their Instagram and YouTube account, they are a firm believer of housing Syrians together. They believe that you can train Syrian hamsters to not be territorial and that they like to live with each other, which is so far from true. Also, by looking at the images, they do breed Syrian hamsters and they do keep them in poor conditions. They give them small cages that are very overcrowded with Syrians, and there's absolutely no enrichment for these hamsters. So this video clip I am showing you guys, I actually found on one of their YouTube accounts, and it's two Syrian siblings very violently fighting each other. It goes on to say that, oh, they're not drawing any blood, but I would like to show that there clearly is a scab on one of the Syrians' snout, as well as both of their coats are very poorly kept up. So clearly they are in a state of stress and this isn't okay, and the person clearly doesn't understand that. So for anybody who doesn't know, Syrians are a solitary species of hamster. They cannot be with each other. I think people get confused oftentimes because they'll walk into a pet store and they'll see a bunch of Syrians together in a tank, cuddled up, sleeping. And they're like, well, why are they together? Why aren't they fighting? Oftentimes pet stores have young baby hamsters, and Syrians actually are able to live with each other up until 8 weeks of age. Then that natural instinct just kicks in where they become territorial and they want to claim their own territory. This is just a natural instinct for a Syrian hamster. If you take a look in the wild, Syrian hamsters will only ever come together in the wild to breed. They will breed, and then as soon as they're done breeding, the female Syrian hamster literally will kick out the male Syrian hamster and she'll chase him away from her territory because they all have their own territories. They don't live with each other. They're not social with each other. Then the female hamster gives birth and she basically raises the pups up until 6 to 8 weeks of age, and then she starts kicking them out and saying, you gotta go get your own territory, this is mine. That is how Syrian hamsters live. It's not natural for them to be forced to live with each other. When forced to live with each other, serious consequences can happen, like injuries and even death, because they will fight to the death over territory. You cannot train Syrian hamsters to live with each other. It is natural instinct to want to live on their own. Oftentimes, a lot of people like to humanize their Syrian hamsters and they look at them and they're like, well, my hamster's lonely, my hamster needs a friend. No, they don't. They are not like humans. They do not need the same social aspects that we do. They live perfectly and happily by themselves, and actually so do a lot of other wild animals. There's actually a ton of animals that you wouldn't guess that are actually solitary and they prefer to live by themselves. I have been told so many stories of someone who decided they wanted to house their Syrians together, whether they weren't siblings or they were siblings, and they ended up causing serious injuries or even caused death. Like, for example, this Syrian hamster named Oscar was rescued from being with another Syrian after the other Syrian started to eat a part of his back, which resulted in Oscar having to get stitches. Or like this Syrian hamster named Cove, who was cohabbed with his brother. His brother then began obviously fighting with him. He ripped up some of his ears and part of his eyelid. Cove was thankfully rescued and both of the hamsters are now separated, but that did cause Cove to have injuries. Or like this Syrian hamster named Ginger, who was thankfully rescued by the pipsqueakery. She was housed with another Syrian, which then resulted in a serious fight where Ginger is actually paralyzed. She can't even express her own bladder, and the pipsqueakery actually has to help her with that. Now, these are just the lucky Syrian hamsters who have survived the fights. There are many stories I've been told where another hamster has passed away because they have fought so seriously. Oftentimes, a lot of people will be like, well, I've had my Syrians together for 6 months now and nothing's happened. That doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it okay, doesn't mean those Syrians aren't under a lot of stress. One day, the other Syrian might take a seed from that other Syrian, and that Syrian decides, hey, today I'm gonna snap and kill you because you did that, because I don't want to live with another cage mate because I just don't like it. I want my own territory. That then is your responsibility, and that hamster's life is on yours. There is literally no reason to house Syrians together. They get absolutely no benefit out of it. It is just a selfish thing to do, to want to see two Syrians interact and be cute together, when all it's doing is causing them stress, potential injuries, potential early death. If you are interested in owning a social animal, then I would highly recommend looking into a pair of rabbits, guinea pigs, rats, or even gerbils. These all are animals who need to have a companion of the same species. They get enrichment from it. Syrian hamsters do not. They do not get enrichment from their same species. I'm sorry if I come off as angry in this video. This is a topic I'm very passionate about, and I do not believe risking your animal's life is worth seeing two animals be cute together. It's just not worth it. I don't see why anybody would do it. They're not a social species. I would highly recommend not following accounts that support this behavior of housing Syrians together. The less of a following they have, the less influence they have, the less Syrians that are about to get injuries or die. So I hope this video was educational and it can help you guys learn a bit more about Syrians and why you shouldn't house them together. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!